Well, hey, y'all, and welcome to Shade in the City. Of course, there's only one of us today, but the other one is on her PTO that I did approve, so we'll let her have it. Hey, Demarcus, welcome. Thank you. Look, being prompt and on time. I love it, y'all. Okay. Well, hopefully, everybody had a great weekend. Hopefully, it was safe, and hopefully, you got some good weather wherever you were at because I know it was beautiful over here in the DMV. Okay, I haven't had this much sun since I went to Mexico last year. But yeah, y'all. So I'm really happy to be up here to Raising Kanan. This is season 4, episode 4. This is called The Way We Were. I'd really like y'all to drop down in the chat and let me know what you would rate this particular episode because I didn't feel like. Okay, look, Demarcus, you on it. You said it was a solid 9. I didn't feel that way. I could give it maybe like I don't know, let's say maybe a 7. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll get into it. I don't know. But I think really B said it best when this episode was kind of like a slow burn, but I don't know. Y'all may differ. We'll get into it. But yeah, so if you haven't already, please make sure that you hit the like button as you're coming in so the algorithm can do what it do and let everybody know been here. And I can tell y'all on my end as well as a viewer, I've been getting my notifications super late when people go live. So as I see y'all starting to roll in, I do know that that's probably what's happening. So yeah, please hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribed as well. But yeah, y'all, let's get into this week's episode of Raising Kanan and let's get shady. Oh, and Demarcus, look, I'm gonna need you to be my low-key co-host since Nails is gone because it's a lot of stuff I don't know who it was or didn't understand. So yeah, I'm gonna need you, boo. I'm putting you to work today, okay? All right, let's get shady. Hey, everybody. I see y'all rolling in. Hey, Blatant Truth. Hey, Miracle. What's up? Hey, D. How you doing? Oh, not you still. Are we starting early, Demarcus, with Team Joyce Thomas? I can't with you. Thank you so much, Miracle. Thank you. Hopefully it'll go like a Beyond the Gates. We'll see. Lives are a little bit different than when I can record and catch myself. Right? So anyway, we open up this episode and Martin has we see him. I guess, can I say he's beating somebody up? Okay, let's just say that word. So we see him beating somebody up, which I figured out eventually is Tremont. All right. And so he's like rolled him out of the hotel and like the laundry bin, like he's a part of the janitorial staff and whatnot. Hey, Jeremiah, welcome, boo. And then they cut later and he's actually torturing him even more, which I think the way that they cut a lot of this episode too was confusing. But y'all, again, let me know in the chat. So Tremont is like, what do you want? Like, I don't understand why we're going through all this. And so then we see Rock pop up. I am skipping over y'all because like I said, the way that they cut this up, it was weird. So then we see Rock pop up and basically she tells Tremont that, she wants the name of his connect. And he's like, did we really have to do all this? I would have gave you that. And I was kind of with him. I was like, did we really need to do all this? And so basically, he ends up giving it to him, which we see later on in the episode. Right. So now, then we go back over, or I guess we have to rewind a little bit. Back at Mama Joyce's house, after she's told the kids the news that she is unfortunately on her way out of here, okay? Basically, Rock is like, what type of person tells their kids that they dying over collard greens and cornbread? Who does that? And I was like, well, I mean, I guess maybe, you know what, Rock? Maybe if your mama could cook, and it was good collard greens and cornbread, you wouldn't feel that strongly. But I guess I can understand what she's saying. So I would love to know your thoughts, Demarcus. Rock accuses her mother of attempting to have a moment and, make it about her. And I was thinking to myself, she's dying. It should be about her. Am Am I the only one that felt that way? It should be about her right now. But anyway, and she's not thinking about how they feel. So her mother makes it clear that, look, I was just trying to tell you I was dying, okay? And so Rock accuses her of quitting like she did when their father left. And her mother reminded her that their father unalived himself, okay? And she didn't know how to operate as a widow with 3 kids and wasn't sure, basically what she was supposed to do. So Rock was like, what you were supposed to do was be a damn mama. What you mean? And part of me is I kind of understand what she's saying. So Joyce feels like, her kids blame her for what their father did. And she says it's even, it was difficult for her to even handle day-to-day life. And Rock was like, yeah. And so that's when I started handling day-to-day life. And again, we know that's why there's this friction between Rock and Joyce and just her kids in general. So Joyce is like, you know what? All y'all kids got a damn story. Marvin feel like he did everything. You feel like you did. And Lou feel like he was on his own. Like he was just really out there by himself. And she's like, you know what? And don't nobody give a damn about how I felt. And you know what? For the first time, I ain't even gonna hold you. DeMarcus, hey Danielle. But yeah, I ain't even gonna hold you, DeMarcus. For the first time, I was like, I'm kind of here with you. Cause yeah, I don't know. I think they should have gave Mama Joyce a little bit more grace than that, but apparently she really was a bad parent. And so basically she was like, if I didn't worry about me, nobody else was going to. So, she's like, I wasn't a great wife or a mother. And when I tried to do better, basically y'all had wrote me off and said, well, screw you. And she said, and the saddest part is I'm dying knowing that nobody's going to miss me. And I said, whoo, that hits different. That hits different. And so Rock tells her, look, I ain't doing this with you. What you're not going to do is get sympathy from me. So she tells Joyce, look, you want forgiveness and I can't give that to you. And I said, well, that's what it was. That's what it was. Okay, hold on. Let me see what some of these comments is saying. DeMarcus said, Rock leaving Tremont alive will haunt her. Tremont and Abram could retaliate on Rock or Marvin. Okay. See, I don't even so DeMarcus, help me out. Who the hell is Abraham? Help me out in the chat. Help me out. That clearly went over my head, but at least I figured out who Tremont was. So thank you. Joyce has Rock rattled and running away. I don't necessarily think rattled and running away. Rock is not like the most emotional person, right? So we got to give her a little bit of grace that, she's not going to show that, obviously she's hurt. Hey, Xavier, I didn't even see you pop in here. Hey, boo. Dee said, we really need to know the why. Joy's history is essential. I absolutely agree. Why would she expect her children to understand anything? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm going to play advocate, my favorite thing to do, but I think she just was expecting them to be understanding because obviously she lost her. Like, how when you get older in life and sometimes things that your parents went through, and when you get older and you relook at the situation because you're an adult, you feel differently or you can kind of give them some grace. So I think that was more of what Mama Joyce was expecting, but I don't know. Danielle said, we got to know who Monet was modeled after. Mama Joyce. You stupid. DeMarcus said, Rock got nerve to judge Joyce. However, Rock quit and gave up and had 2 deletions. Trish, you just justifying for Rock. I am and did. Okay. So then surprisingly, we see, so it was anybody surprised? I thought OC had gotten unalive. Hey, Cortland, how you doing, boo? I thought OC was unalive, y'all. So I was shocked when we see him and he's dropping off, I guess, cash for Kanan at the new place. And basically he said that he lets them know they still making up for the hit. And Kanan instructs OC that, look, he wants everybody working around the clock, ain't nobody to be taking breaks, chilling. And so once he leaves, Crystal's like, look, okay, this is our home. And thank God we got out of that nasty apartment when we did, because, obviously look what happened. And so she's just like, yeah, so I need you to stop running business in and out of here because this is not conducive to my living environment. Okay. And so finally, Kanan's like, all right, fine, agreed. So then we see, again, this is another where they cut. Hold on. Blayton said Joyce never wanted to tell them in the first place. Right. Right, exactly. So to that point, that's why I was like, really, she didn't want to make it about her. The only reason she even said anything, I think she wanted to, I guess, die with her dignity in a way. And she didn't want to go through answer to her kids. But Kanan, she let Kanan get in her head. But anyway, I'm sorry. Let me go back to the scene. So then Juke, right? She comes over to see the new place. And then Kanan decides that he's dipping. And so she's like, well, what are you doing? I thought we was chilling. And he's like, nah, I think you and Crystal, y'all could talk about some things, harmonize. And I was like, you shady mother. And so, anyway, basically, finally, her and Crystal have a conversation. She shows her around the apartment, and then she's like, look, I'm really sorry that I tried to have your ass whooped. Um, and so Juke is like, yeah, they tried to cut me. And she was like, well, at least you beat them bitches. And I ain't even gonna hold you. I don't know how anybody else felt. Crystal should have saw the floor. Crystal should have seen the floor at that point. And why Juke didn't drop her is beyond me. Maybe because she loves Kanan. She knows Kanan got a thing for her. I wouldn't have gave a damn. I wouldn't have gave a damn. And even after your apology of, oh, well, I went through so much and my only way out was butter and I had so much going on at home. So that's why I tried to get your ass kicked. And no, it's not. It's not gonna fly for me. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. This is one where I can't play advocate for shit. I would have whooped ass. Okay, I would have. And then the fact that she tried to joke about it. The nerve. But she tells her, look, I know you ain't never really gonna see it for me like that, but for the sake of Kanan, can we act like, or at least be cordial? And so, Juke says, we'll see if we can do that. And I said, this is when I need the adult Juke to show up, the ruthless Juke to show up, because this person with all this grace is beyond me. And for the wrong people at that. But okay. Oh, Xavier, Rock looked amazing. And not even that, you know what it was for me? It was the ponytail. I mean, the whole look was given, but when Rock had that little, and she walked in, you know what I'm talking about. She looked good. I was like, you better, Rock. Miracle said, Joy still made it about herself. Miracle. This is not a parent deserving. This is not a parent deserving redemption. Well, damn, do you know something that we don't, Miracle? DeMarcus said Abraham is Traymont's right-hand man that Rock bailed out of jail in season 2. Oh, okay. See, yeah. Thank you, DeMarcus. Cortland said Unique probably flipped OC's OC. He's working for him in Kanan now. Hold on. You think so? Oh, that's a good. I didn't think about that, Cortland. That's a good narrative or theory. I like that. DeMarcus said Rock and Jukebox are hypocrites because they can't forgive people. Hey, clearly Juke is forgiven. D said if I was Juke, Crystal can kick rocks. Absolutely, would be no way. DeMarcus said Kanan don't know that Crystal had Jukebox jumped by 2 girls. Right. But you know what? At this point, because it was so long ago, and because I don't know if he would care at this point. You know what I mean? He done knocked her up, and they done been through some stuff now. Where at this point, I think that would be water under the bridge. Like he might be like, "Don't ever do no shit like that again." But I don't think he would. I don't think he would break up with her or nothing like that. Nah. Xavier said, I can't wait for Crystal and her thick wig to go. Why you got to do Crystal and her wig like that? What did she do to you? Deirdre said, the snatch on that belt on that cat suit. Let's go. Yes. Blatant said, I'm still mad Rock's palm print was not plastered on Crystal's face from last week. Okay. So, well, I guess y'all all really, I don't really see it for Crystal either, but DeMarcus said, who wore the black cat suit better, Rock or Diana? Is that even a question, DeMarcus? Because we all know the answer to that. I think the chat might eat you up on that. Everybody know the answer to that. Rock. Okay. Cortland said Crystal better hope Jukebox don't tell Rock and Marvin, right? Especially after how we saw things go down this episode. But I don't know. Marvin might calm down now because clearly Juke said I ain't a illa, but don't push me. Okay. So then we see Lou and B Rilla. They're in the studio. And in walks, forgive me if I butcher this woman's name. I believe her name is Omani Okiki, or something like that. Now Lou wants to know who the hell she is and why she's there. Right. She introduces herself and lets Lou know that she's B Rilla's new product manager. And she said that Lowell had moved her from, I guess, the hip hop, but she went from the pop to the hip hop department. Okay. And so Lou calls B Rilla out of the studio so they can meet or whatever. And he's like, well, what does pop have to do with hip hop? And she's like, well, good music is good music. And, one day hip hop will be pop. And, clearly, look, she was right. Okay. I mean, look at how long Drake has been out here giving us, bops. Okay. I'm just saying. But Lou is hopeful that that'll never happen, right? So Amani lets him know that, look, I'm just there to support. I'm not here to step on your toes or whatever. And so then she introduces herself to B Rilla and says, look, I'm here to help you sell records. Lou says, well, he ain't got no records and he can't make them while you sitting here in our way. And I was like, oh, why is Lou being so nasty? So if he ain't crying, he rude. Pick a side. So, basically, Lou tells her they need to go back to work. And so B Rilla asks Lou his opinion of Amani after she leaves. And Lou doesn't believe that she can be of any help or service to them. And then the engineer tells him, look, actually, I've seen her work with other people and, she's kind of a big deal. And Lou said, and so am I. I said, but yeah, Lou, I need you to pick a side. It's either you disgruntled, you just real unhappy in life. And I don't understand. Crystal is just so damn grasping and pathetic. Get rid of her already. Damn. Blatant said, don't play with Rock. Don't play with Rock. DeMarcus said the hate for Joyce and Crystal is real. Clearly. Diana is fine. Also, she is, but can't nobody do it like Rock. I'm sorry. Imani kind of resembles Noma. I kind of got that vibe. I was like, what are we trying to do here? Lou got too much dip on his chip because what has he done for real? You know what it is? I think a lot of Lou was like, I'm the son of a big musician. And then I guess, didn't he have that studio? So I guess Lou be, he feel like, yeah, I'm the man, like he did something. Okay. DeMarcus said, I love some Dirty Diana. I bet you do. Cortland says something bad has happened to everyone. Lou has worked within music. He has to stop. Oh, I get what you're saying. I'm sorry, Cortland. Something has happened to everybody Lou has worked with. So basically, you're hinting that something about to happen to B Rilla. Okay, thank you. D said, do we know where Famous is? We still don't know where Famous is. And does anybody think that are we ever gonna see Famous outside of like throwbacks or flashbacks? I don't know. Xavier said, a big deal how all his artists are unalive or gone. Clearly, right? Y'all are funny. So Kanan goes to see Snap and Pop. Don't give me line. I still don't know which one is so if I mess up and I said the wrong person, said the wrong thing, it's because I still can't get them right. I really be feeling like Wendell should be Pop, but I think y'all told me last time that Pop is actually the girl and he's Snap, but whatever. So anyway, so as Candace walking in to see them, he sees the cops walking out of the establishment. And so he's like, he tells Snap, he realizes like, damn, y'all mess with everybody. And he's like, yeah, so they don't mess with us. That's how that works. So Kanan hands over the money that I guess, is due to them. And Pop notices that the envelope is a little bit light. So Kanan lets him know that his drop spot was hit. And Snap questions, well, why you ain't got no reserves? And lets him know that, your losses are not our losses. Okay. That's not how this works. And so he's like, regardless of what happens to you, the payment remains the same. The expectation is the same. I said, damn. All right. And so then he's asking him, well, how much did they get him for? He don't really want to say anything or he doesn't disclose. So they tell him that, people will start to think that he's vulnerable because he got hit and obviously he hasn't retaliated. So he needs to start to make them think differently. And then Snap asks if Rock got hit as well. And Kanan tells him to ask her and Pop lets him know, look, he asked you. And I was like, yeah, Kanan getting real bold, but I guess, we see him, I guess, trying to come into himself, like, whatever. And so Kanan tells him it's trouble everywhere, like they said. And so Snap tells Kanan that he'll let him slide. But how people view him now is how they're going to view him forever. And so Kanan says that he wants to be seen as himself. and not who's next to him or who his parents or family members might be, right? So Snap tells him that Quan has been asking about him and offers to make the introduction. And so Snap tells Kanan if he wants people to see him for himself, he has to let him know who he is. And so Quan is gonna find out who he is. And he also tells him that as long as he's wrapped up, or I believe Pop, the woman, tells him that, as long as he's wrapped up with Rock, he's basically always gonna be tied to her. And so I don't know. I think when I saw this scene, I think that he's gonna get himself into trouble again. Probably with Quan this time. And then Rock is gonna end up bailing him out and probably saving his life again, as we're reminded of later on in the episode. But let's see what y'all talking about. Let me know what y'all think. Is B Rilla going to rob Lou and leave one episode? What you think? No, Cortland. Actually, what's gonna happen is, I think what's gonna happen is he's gonna force, and I'm jumping ahead. I think he's gonna force Marvin Lou. I think he's gonna force B Rilla to move out. And we already heard that he don't like being alone because he gets into too much trouble. And I think what's gonna happen is, we already know that what's his name? Lowell done already said that he keeps money in his house. And I think he's gonna go rob him. I think that's why they even let that little nugget out for us to know, because I think B Rilla is gonna be the one to take advantage of it. Just my opinion. D said, I'm sorry, I love Pop and Snap's mathematics. I do love them as characters. I just can't figure out who's who. But I love them. I do love them. Blatant Truth said, I think I missed it, but the little guy that runs with Kanan, does he know who Neek is, and will he be secretly working with him after the robbery? So Blatant Truth, great point. Cortland brought that up earlier and basically said that, basically OC is probably a double agent at this point, which it didn't even cross my mind, because again, I thought the little boy had been unalive. Was just shocked to see him on our screen. I was like, is this a flashback? I was real confused. So thank you, Cortland and Blatant Truth, for asking that question, because I think that clears that up for maybe just me, but hopefully for some of y'all watching or replay gang. Okay. DeMarcus says Snaps and Pop could manipulate Kanan to off Stefano to get from under Rock's thumb. Oh, okay. Snaps and Pop want to control Kanan like Rock does. Absolutely. I mean, I feel like everybody wants to control him to a certain level, and because he's young and can be manipulated, that's why everybody wants to do it. Kanan could help B Rilla move into Famous's old building. Bye. Get off my line, Marcus. Xavier said Pop and Snap trying to turn Kanan out. They speaking and moving too much for people who are retired. You stupid, Xavier. DeMarcus, B Rilla could teach Kanan and Jukebox the BNE game and this Furious Lulu. What? Okay, you're gonna have to explain that to me. But anyway, all right, let's move on. So we see Neek. He's over down at Early's, I guess, shop, and he basically is like, I'm ready to get back to these streets. I'm ready to show my face. I'm tired of pretending that I'm dead. And Early tells him, you should actually enjoy it, because basically, like, you're kind of invisible right now. And so then they hear Marvin coming into the shop. So he asks, Neek, now's your time. If you want to pop out there, bruh, do you jump out there? So he's like, nah, I think I'm gonna stay dead a little while longer. So he goes and hides or whatever. And then we see Marvin basically comes and talks to Early. He says, look, I got a business opportunity for you. Apparently Early does some stuff like running the books or bets and stuff like that. So we know that Marvin had offed Stefano's guy at the pool hall that was skimming off the top. So obviously he has to clean up his mess. So this is i.e. why he's sitting in Early's shop asking him, and he lets him know, look, I'm gonna have you dealing with some heavy hitters, but I think you could deal with it. And Early is thankful for the opportunity. He also lets him know, thank you for hooking me up with your aunt and the whole system situation, and obviously putting him in touch with Gerald's daughter. And he's like, look, I'm gonna need a little piece, just so remind ourselves that we're friends. And he was like, cool. So that was pretty much that scene. I did think it was funny when Marvin asked him if he washed his hands, because he told him that he was in the bathroom when he came in, obviously to stall. So Neek could go and hide, but I did think that was hilarious. He was like, my dude, you just told me, and he was like, no, I did. But It was hilarious. It's just funny to me how Marvin is so conscious, but stays stuffing things in his mouth at the most random times. Okay. DeMarcus said, BNE, breaking and entering games. Oh, DeMarcus, you know I am not from the streets, okay? So yeah, you do gotta explain stuff like that to me, okay? Cortland said we could have lost Marvin that episode if Unique decided to stop hiding. You think so? Because I think no shade. I think we could have lost Neek. That's just my opinion. I don't think Early has a side. I mean, I think he cool with Neek, and yeah, he paid him, but Marvin's also giving him business. I don't think there was any loyalty there. I think that if he wanted to reveal himself and Marvin rolled up on him and they got the tussling, and I think Early would have let him. But y'all, let me know in the comments if y'all disagree. Yes, D, that was hilarious to me. I was like, Marvin, can I just say I love Marvin because he truly is, in my opinion, the comedic relief of the show that's absolutely needed at times. All right. So then Juke is back at her new happy place, right? Down at the bar. So there's some girl over there giving her the eyes from across the room. She's being very forward, direct, okay? So she comes over, introduces herself. She said, hey, my name is Jackie, okay? And she's like, can I buy you a drink? And Juke is like, no, that's not what I want. And so Mara, who's sitting there at the bar with her, says, look, I was a little closed off when I first started coming here too, but eventually these is going to start to feel like family, right? And so Mara starts talking about how her family sucks. And it was one of those moments. I don't know. I might be telling on myself, but it was one of those moments. You know how when you with people and you start drinking, and sometimes you always have that friend. Sometimes I might be that friend that after a couple drinks and you start talking about a certain subject and then they get real and they emotional. And that's what Mara was giving. I was like, okay, girl. And I know Juke was looking at her like, yeah, that's a lot. So then we see Neek. He rolls up on some guy, DeMarcus. Where you at when I need you? What's this guy's name that Neek's rolled up on? He's shocked to see that Neek is alive. Because he wants to know why he's there, because he already took his business. And Neek says, no, Rock stole the business from both of us. Okay. And so Rock is public enemy number one for Neek. Okay. So he tells him that Rock, unalive both of them, I guess, business wise. Right. And so, he's like, let me inside so we could talk this out. And so he lets him inside, and I guess they're going to have a conversation. Thank you, boo. Damon. Okay, thank you, because I did not get that man's name. DeMarcus said Marvin could seen that ET was yapping and capping. Xavier, they start oversharing and bringing the mood down. It's so awkward. Don't do that, Xavier. I said sometimes I can be that way. Sometimes, not all the time. Not all the time at all. That's why I try not to drink when I'm emotional, because it never goes well. DeMarcus said Treese was right about Mara being sis to Jukebox. Yeah, absolutely. That's like it's becoming like her big sister. DeMarcus, Damon looked like he has seen a unique ghost talking. Yeah, but I mean, he thought he was dead. What, unalive? What else we supposed to? Me personally, I would have shut the door in his face. If you're supposed to be in the ground, what we're not doing is sitting up here, and you're definitely not coming in my house. I don't know. That was a little weird for me, but okay. So then we roll back over to Juke and Mara, who are leaving the bar, and Juke suggests that they, go get something to eat or whatnot and stop by the diner. And Mara notices that some man is like watching them in the distance. It was, I always feel like somebody's watching me. It was giving that, okay? So anyway, then Mara starts to get scared when she notices, obviously she knows this guy, she's familiar. So she starts booking it in the other direction and pulling Juke. And so he starts following him. It was giving, for a little bit, it gave me a little flashback of Ronnie when he was chasing him down there. He was walking real fast, like speed walking real fast. It gave me a little Ronnie flashback. But anyway, so he catches up. Oh, is that his name? Aaron DeMarcus? Is that the dude that was chasing him? But he catches up, knocks Juke down to the ground, and we even see her like hit her head. But thankfully, she's okay. And then we see he stuffed Mara in the backseat of the car and basically told her he was gonna unalive her. And and then we find out that's her husband. Who knew? Who knew? So yeah, what did y'all think about that? What do y'all think about the fact that Mara got a husband, but she out in these streets doing that? I don't know. I ain't here to judge. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Look, where is Mara? I did see in the preview, D, for next week's episode, that I do think that she's still alive. She's still alive because if I'm not mistaken, um, she questions Juke about what happened to her husband. So, and because remember, Juke told her when they pulled up to the house that yeah, Mara said basically this is the address. So Mara absolutely gave her the address. Xavier said they always marry. You stupid, Xavier. Blatant Truth said Mara out here looking like Debbie Allen with a whole husband. Right. I thought that's who she remind me of. Absolutely. That's who she looks like. Yes. That was a great comparison, Blatant Truth. So then we see Marvin and Rock, and they meet up. They're having a meeting with Eshak. Am I pronouncing that right? Right, Eshak. And apparently he's the connection that Tremont gave them, right? So Rock lets him know that look, she's not looking to be supplied. She wants to be the supply. She wants to be the direct link, wholesale, and tells him, look, it's her product, her rules. Eshak tells her, well, that's a different type of arrangement, all right? But she said, I'm looking to be in a different type of business. I said, that's right. And so he tells her, well, look, you come back tomorrow, but come back alone because this brother of yours, and, he keep chiming in and he's annoying the hell out of me. And I was, how Marvin do it. And I wouldn't imagine, I wouldn't concentrate on it in the scene, but I'm sure he was eating something. Xavier said they go scissor and eat cat and then go back to their insufferable husbands. You always cutting up on a Sunday. You are terrible. I'm pray for you, boo. Detective Garcia could question Mara about the unaliving of Aaron. Oh, good point, DeMarcus. That's a very good point. Miracle said it was the 90s, so I'm not surprised that she had a husband. Okay, Eshak. Yeah, Eshak. Forgive me if I'm saying the man name wrong. So then we see Lowell. He actually meets with Lou and Amani, and he tells Lou that he heard that he was being dismissive, and Amani's like, "Nah, I didn't say that. What I said is that they were distracted." And so she lets Lou know, like, "Look, I didn't call him. He called me. He wanted to know how things went, and I told him." And Lou said, "Well, you know what? I was dismissive," and said, "Look, I don't need Amani's help." He reminds him that he came to him, okay, and told him that he wanted to run things and he wants to run everything. All right. And so Lowell says, look, although I respect that and you are the man, he says teamwork is the difference between good and great, and they're aiming for greatness. And so Lou tells him, look, they'll work together. And finally he said, well, why don't y'all go out and talk out figure things out later on. And I think they're setting us up for, we're about to see Lou have a new love interest. How do y'all feel about Amani and Lou? Are y'all here for it? Do y'all want to see it? Because can I be honest, I'm not interested. And maybe because it's Lou. I ain't even gonna hold you. Maybe because it's Lou. I'm not interested. And honestly, I'd rather see Marvin get a girl. Real talk. But y'all tell me what you think. Cortland said you can't let him come back for revenge. Risky. Right. Deirdre said Amani and Lou gonna end up in the sack. Oh, absolutely. Xavier said, Lou, you need help because you can't even help your niece's career pop off. Hell, it's Lou's fault Juke is even in this mess. Well, you better remind him. Xavier. DeMarcus said Lulu and Amani could try to recruit Crystal to help Be Rilla on his album. Okay. Now you are shooting for the stars, DeMarcus. You are shooting for the stars with that one, at least in my opinion. But hey, you never know. I'm sure stranger things have happened in the Power universe. Xavier said maybe seeing Lou naked will make him interested again. You know what though? I ain't even gonna hold you. Lou's dude probably look like he got I don't know. For some reason, he gives me the vibe like he might have like a little bit of a dad bod. Like, I don't know. Like Marvin gives me more, I'm in the gym. I'm on it. Lou gives me, I have a little bit of a beer belly, I might have some extra cushion for the pushing, but I don't know. Let me not out here be judging Lou like that. DeMarcus said Imani resembles a young Joyce Thomas. You want everybody to be Joyce Thomas, DeMarcus. Get out of here. So then we see Marvin. He's introducing early to Stefano as, an option to manage the pool hall that we know he unalived the guy at. So Stefano seems to be liking early. They even have some common, business contacts, I guess you could say. Somebody named Lump. Help me out. Where my virtual co-host, DeMarcus? Where you at, boo? Who's Lump? Who the hell is Lump? Help me out. But anyway, Stefano agrees to let Early take over at the pool hall, but lets Marvin know if there's any mistakes, that's his arse. Okay? That's his arse. And of course, we know. Does anybody think Marvin's going to make it out of the season alive? Because unfortunately, just all the things that, we're on episode 4 now, so we got episode 5. And then I think they may break and then come back. But yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to believe, and it hurts me because I love Marvin. But I feel like he's not gonna make it through this season. I just really don't, unfortunately, think so. And that's sad. But just with him not really being truthful with his sister, now he messing with Stefano. Now he got Early representing him. And what do you think? And I don't know if Neek overheard the conversation with Early and Marvin, but what do you think is what's gonna possibly happen once Neek finds out that Early is like buddy and doing business with Marvin? I don't think that's gonna go over well. And especially if he knows he can hurt Rock in some way by messing up Marvin's business, I absolutely think Early's gonna be out of here, but I don't know. Y'all let me know. Xavier said, you really hope not. Marvin's dumbass needs to go. What? Xavier. DeMarcus said, Lump is a nobody. Okay, thank you. Xavier said, every time I see Marvin, I think of Dr. Simone. You don't think. Okay. So yeah, Kanan goes to see Quan. All right. So he asked how, and Quan is being real shady, like, oh, how that 20% increase affecting y'all. And Kanan's like, playing it cool. And he's like, it's all good. You just work harder. Okay. And so Kanan tells him, next time something come up, I don't need you going to my mama because she complicates things and he lets it be known that his business is his business. And I said, this is where you're going to get in trouble, young man. And this is what I was telling y'all about a few minutes ago when I said Rock is gonna have to get up here and save that little boy ass again. I'm telling you, I foresee it. DeMarcus said Unique could remember that Marvin shot at Unique and Jerome, his son. And okay, good point, DeMarcus. Good point. But I mean, you never know. I mean, didn't Rock try to off them too, and he ended up putting a baby in her? So who knows? So anyway, Neek is going to stake out some warehouse with Damon. Thank you, virtual co-host. And so they decide they're gonna go in there and just okay, that's literally what they did. And they just go in there and start unaliving everybody. And I ain't even gonna hold you. Thankfully, Nels is here, so I can say this. And if y'all bring this up next week, I'm gonna be mad at y'all. Don't start none, won't be none, right? I don't like Neek in this capacity. And I know that's gonna sound crazy. I don't like him in this capacity. I don't like him in this ruthless Ronnie type. It makes him hard, it makes it hard to even drool over him, y'all. And I'm now Nels, I'm sure, is going to say much different, right? But for me, I can't even be like, oh my God, he's so fine no more. Cause I'm just like, I'm just so over his character and just like his just not having any to give. And I don't know. I just wish it was, I don't know. I know that sounds crazy, but I'd rather it be Ronnie. I want Ronnie back. I do. I'm sorry. Now looking back on it, if the trade-off was Neek stay unalive and we could keep Ronnie in this space that we have Neek in, I'm sorry, y'all. And I know that's gonna be unpopular, but Look, Danielle said, I'm telling. Girl, I'm serious though. I'm serious. For me, I don't know. I don't like this unique. But anyway, D said, why is everyone lying to Rock? I don't know, but she has to come and clean up the mess, which I think that's why they made that a point to bring that up too. And I mean, we know that's just her MO, but yeah, they reminded us she's been doing it since they were young. DeMarcus said Quanna's using Kanan just like Ronnie was using Kanan. Right. Kanan's being used by everybody on every level. And I hate to say it, he's even being used by his mama. Let's just call a thing a thing. F Rock in my Ronnie voice. You stupid. Unique is trash. Don't do that, DeMarcus. Cortland said Quan is probably going to help Kanan replace Rock. We know he's starting to hate Rock. Okay. Okay, Cortland. I like that. I like that theory. Xavier said, me either. It's a waste. He was better off rotting in the forest. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this. Team Ronnie, I'm with you. What'd you say, blatant truth? The writers have to find a way to make the fans not give a damn and unalive him for real next time. And I ain't even gonna hold you. That's probably what they're doing, because I guess obviously we over here holding memorial services and whatnot last season, and rest in peace, Neek. And yeah, it was such an outrage that I guess they felt like, no, we can't let him go. But yeah, nah, I ain't gonna hold you. He could go. And I know that sounds terrible, but he could go at this point. He could. So yeah, Lou is they go out to eat. Lou is talking to him, or he takes Armani to Shirley's. So they talk about the vision for B Rilla's career, and it seems like Amani, it says, my notes say it seemed like Amani might like Lou a little bit. Okay. She tells him the message, B Rilla's trying to give needs to match the music. And Lou lets her know, well, they still trying to figure that out. So she tells Lou he needs a new single to help reinvent himself, kind of like what Fame did. Okay. And then, of course, she brings up Famous and where the hell is he? And, he's like, look, Famous is figuring it out. Okay. And, I can understand that. So she asked him if he wants to go join her to see another potential act. And, she's throwing it, okay, at this point, very mildly. But she's definitely flirting or showing that, and Lou just ain't, Lou ain't here for it. And look, maybe he just need to focus on his sobriety, okay? But anyway, so she tells him before she leaves that she'd rather be his ally than his adversary, okay? If Grant of Coleman don't have another show, Ronnie would be in season 4. Okay. Oh, it didn't have another show. Oh, he has another show. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Miracle. Yeah, unfortunately, people think that Unique is Breeze. Stop, DeMarcus. So Rock and Marvin go look at the damage that Neek has caused. And so she tells Terry, because we know Terry's upset, because they want out. These poor little Asian people, they want out. Okay, they was not expecting all this, and they thought they was just gonna make some easy money. They were not expecting this. So look, she said, Terry, it was good that y'all called us first, because the police would have made things worse. And so Rock lets them know that our people will clean this up, so don't worry about it. Terry said, look, I don't like this violence. I want out. I don't know who was Terry's virtual co-host. Who was Terry's the man's that was with him, the real little ignorant little boy. Oh, hey, thank you. Oh, thank you, virtual co-host. You're so sweet. Thank you for the super sticker. But yeah, who's the guy that was with him that was kind of doing all the talking for Terry and was disagreeing with whatever he said? But anyway, so yeah, so basically he wants to be done. The boy that's with him is like, nah, we ain't gonna do that, because we need this money. And Rock tries to offer him payment. He doesn't want to accept it, but his partner does. David, thank you. David does. And then Rock lets him know, we know who hit up the warehouse. And basically it's the same person. They know it's the same person that hit up the Golden Pavilion. She tells Marvin, we need to find out who did that. So could you please expedite this process? Because Marvin lets her know that we still don't know, or I still don't know who did it. And yeah. And we all know, because Marvin is not focused like he needs to be, because he's too busy running errands and doing things for Stefano. Cortland said Famous probably snitched on everybody, hiding somewhere. Cortland, we already told you last week that Famous is in the same probably witness protection. He probably working at that same store that Tasha was working at. DeMarcus said, imagine if Malcolm Howard smoked Famous because Famous put two and two together and realized that Howard was Kanan's father. What if Ronnie smoked Famous? Okay, I see what you're saying. I don't think no. Ronnie, I don't think Ronnie would have done it. Xavier said he was on. Oh, you're talking about Ronnie. He was on Emperor of Ocean Park on MGM, and it was a good political mystery. Okay. I actually did see an advertisement for that, but I don't have MGM, so I didn't watch it, and I'm trying to, keep myself from signing up for more subscriptions that I don't realize I have. Cortland said Rock is not letting the agents out, and told them they've seen too much. Right. So I don't, but I guess, they think, well, no, we just want to be done. We promise we won't say anything. And they don't realize that that's not how this business works. Okay. So then we see Kanan. He goes to see Stefano, and Kanan thanks him, for meeting with him. And so Stefano lets him know that he only took the meeting because of Quan. And he reminds Kanan he works with his mother, not him. I ain't even gonna hold you. I absolutely loved this scene. Stefano reminds him that his mother loves him so much that she borrowed $500,000 from him to save his life. And he said he wouldn't even do that for his own kids. Stefano calls him out for being there behind his mother's back. And Kanan says that, he just wanted him to get to know him. And Stefano tells him, I don't really want to know you. And I said, yes. I love people who are loyal and stand on business like that. And I love the fact that they're holding him to task. Like, no, you don't get to be shady to your mother. And that's a good person right there versus Pop and Snap, who going to use it against him because they know he don't like his mama. DeMarcus said, Treese, did you see Emperor of Ocean Park before? That's what Xavier was just saying. No, I didn't watch it, but clearly that's something I need to do. Do they got like a free trial? Can I sign up for like 30 days so I can watch it and then unsubscribe? I might do that. He said, come through, Stefano. Let him know. Right. So then we see Marvin. He walks in the house and he sees Juke nursing her wounds. He asks if someone put their hands on her. And of course, we know Juke, obviously, yes, she shows him, the damage done to her head. So then Rock goes back. Now, this was crazy to me. Rock goes back to the little spot to meet Eshak the next day. He takes her back through the kitchen. And then there's a car waiting to take her somewhere. She has no idea where this car is going. She doesn't know who. For me, there is just no way. There is no way. But yeah, she gets in. He tells her, "Look, if you don't get in, we can part ways now. This deal is done." So she gets in the car. What y'all think? I mean, I guess you got to take risks. Rock ain't a scary one, but I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it without like Marvin knowing where I'm. You know what I mean? Somebody that could save you, but that's why Rock is a bad bitch. Okay, that's why we love her. All right, Xavier, free trial for 7 days. I'll see if I can knock it out. Vacay JTV. Hello, it's Treese and virtual co-host. Hey. Thank you for joining us. Welcome. And guys, if you have not already, please make sure that y'all hit that like button. And yeah, make sure if you're not, you're subscribed. Okay. Stefano, DeMarcus says Stefano not loyal because he got Marvin working behind. Oh, good point. Okay. Clock it. You called me on it. Okay. I'll give you that. D says she got to make her deal. Let's go. Okay. Xavier said, I would have said, hell no, because ain't no way. Right. It wouldn't have been me. So then we see Neek. Correct me if I'm wrong, virtual co-host. He goes to see Sal's widow. Teresa, is that right? Is that Sal's widow? Let me know if I'm wrong. He tells her that he knows who took him out. And she lets him know that Sal didn't really involve her in the business like that, but gives him basically a contact for one of his boys, whom she will know what to do with Neek and that information. All right. And then Rock, we see her finally make it to her destination, and she's in this beautiful mansion. It was nice. She sits and has tea with Hafiz, I believe his name is. And she lets him know she's looking to get into the import business, and he tells her that they have to cultivate a new source and hire some new workers. But Rock said, well, ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of work. We can work. That wasn't a problem. So he said, well, I only do business with people that are, serious and thoughtful, prudent. And he tells her, I'll be in touch. And he just walks out the room all willy-nilly. So we obviously know that they're going to end up, working together. Jeremiah said Unique was kind of snitching in that scene. Oh, absolutely he was. That's what I'm saying, Jeremiah. I'm not here for this new Neek. I'm not. I love Neek. He fine. He's still fine. I'm just not here for this new. And you know what? I'm going to blame it on the head damage. That's why he's this new person. It's not from his heart. It's not from his heart. It's from his head. Okay. So DeMarcus, Teresa Boselli reminds Unique of Pernessa because they are not in the game. Oh, so did anybody else notice that he had his hand on her leg and he was like, did anybody else feel that was like a little intrusive? I mean, I know she a widow and, she might be going through some things, but for some, I mean, no shade, let me say this, some fine Black man to just roll up in your house. But, some random Black man to just roll up in your house and now he feeling on your leg. And I don't know. Teresa give me the vibe. She wants Neek's condolences, okay? If you get what I'm saying, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So anyway, we jump over to Lou. He's at home and Kanan has went by to see him. And we see that B Rilla is still living there. Why? I thought, well, okay. Lou explains, right? So basically, B Rilla don't like to be alone. And so, is what it is. I'm sorry. Lou's better than me. This is how you know something's wrong with Lou. I think Lou don't want to be alone his damn self. I ain't even gonna hold you. Because ain't no way you was, especially after you have the funds to be on your own, ain't no way you would still be living up in my house. And it's not like, no shade, it's not like Lou has a huge apartment. It's not like he's in a penthouse somewhere in the middle in Manhattan. His apartment is probably a little bit bigger than Kanan's. Like, okay. So anyway, so Kanan, they talk about Famous real quick, right? And so Kanan's like, have you heard anything? And Lou says that I spoke with the sister. She swears up and down that he's not in LA. She don't know where he is, and he said she even sounded scared and said that the mom went to the police to get help finding him her damn self. And so he, he's like, so what do you think? And Kanan's like, I don't even want to think about it because every time I do, I just, I'm thinking it's real messed up. And basically they thinking he snitched, which is obviously if we do see Famous pop up again, please know that it's probably not going to be good for him. I think that's what they're alluding to. So even if we see him, it might be for a scene and it might be him being unalive. That's what I think. Because I think it's super weird that he's not even on the flyer, y'all. But I remember he's not even in the back of me. I ain't gonna mess the thing up by going off the screen, but yeah. So anyway, Rock gets to the door, gets a knock at the door, right? And they let her know that basically her attorney, Andre Barnes, obviously was unalive. She asked if they, did they take anything? I love the way she was able to keep a straight face through this whole scene. Like it really did, like he meant nothing to her. Like it literally was just an attorney-client relationship. And so they mentioned that they, saw his schedule and she was the last person to have seen him. Now, this was the only thing. Okay, maybe he had a schedule, but for me, and I don't know, back then, did they have cell phones yet? I'm wondering because we saw her leave because if she left a voicemail, it's going to be on the phone. And if that was before cell phones and she called his house, then even better for the police because it's on a answering machine. Y'all know back in the day, that means it's on an answering machine on a tape somewhere that they can just rewind and play back. Y'all remember? How old are y'all? Y'all remember answering machines? I'm just saying. I'm that old. I remember answering machines. Okay. I remember before cell phones. Okay. So anyway, Yeah, so basically she plays it off real well. And it's like, look, I'm sorry that happened to him, but it ain't got shit to do with me. And they're like, that's not why we're here. We just basically want to see, did he say anything to you? Was there anything suspicious going on? And she's like, nope, nope. It was just regular attorney client conversation. Same thing we always talk about. And so they like, look, bro, we obviously, know you have a past. Your name is, been in these streets. And unfortunately, every time something bad kind of happens, your name pops up at the worst times. And Rock is like, you know what? Well, questions are over. Thank you for coming. There's the door. There's the door. And so, once they finally leave, we see Rock finally have a reaction to the news. Okay. And then we close it out where we see Juke and Marvin, and they finally make their way over to Aaron. Is it Aaron? Virtual co-host. They make their way over to Aaron's house, right? Mara's husband. And so, Marvin wants to bring his weapon in, and Juke tells him, nah, leave it. It shouldn't, we not here for all that, right? So Marvin, goes to the door. He leaves her in the car, and then he opens the door, and, Marvin just starts wailing on this man, right? So just when Marvin, like, thinks he's done and he about to get up and go, Aaron finds a knife somewhere on a shelf, and he get the shanking and doing all types of things, and he almost kind of gets the better of Marvin, for real. I was a little concerned, but right before he could, he gets his wig cap blasted back. I think that y'all know what that means. And yeah, and obviously we know it was Juke that busted back that wig cap. Okay. So yeah, and that was pretty much the episode. And then we see them flee, and he's trying to like talk to Juke, and she obviously just like go. And was anybody confused by the fact that this happened on like in an apartment on some floor, no neighbors? I don't know, maybe because they're used to like, I don't know, pow-pows and hearing shots or something in the neighborhood. It didn't faze anybody, but just all of the fighting and no neighbor came over and said, hey, what's going on? Nobody called the popo. Okay. It's hard. It's hard out here. But yeah, y'all. So that was pretty much this episode of Raising Kanan. Yeah, episode 4. Let me go back through the comments before we get out of here. Jeremiah said people wanted Unique back. That's why. I know, Jeremiah. I was one of them. You can rub it in. I said it. I did say it's partially my fault. Okay. Teresa is going to be introducing Unique to Phil Russo. Okay. I don't know who that is, but thank you for that, co-host. Kanan will help Be Rilla move into Famous's. Oh, why are you still on that? Do you really think so? Cortland said Be Rilla needs to do some research on Lou's former music partners. He'll run away then. Well, valid points. You said it was Detective O'Leary and Walton that came by. Okay. And could check. Yeah, they could check the answer machine. That's what I'm saying. Cortland said the cops wanted information from Rock so badly, right? Like, and it's crazy because if they know her and they know her reputation long enough, they should have known that they weren't gonna get shit from her. DeMarcus said Aaron is a veteran also. Oh, okay. D said, yeah, no one even came outside. Right. That's weird. Cortland said everyone knows about the Thomas family, scared to say anything to the po-po. Okay. And then DeMarcus said Jukebox was the cause of the Marvin situation by telling Marvin to leave the strap in the car. Well, Xavier said Dark Jukebox is about to be lit. I ain't even gonna hold you. It will. She looks so happy. It's like she got her first hit. You are so funny. Danielle, where you been hiding in the bushes? Unique can condole Mylance's child. Head jacked up and all. You stupid. He can console you. Oh, y'all are funny. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you guys comment and you subscribe. And make sure that you guys hit the notification bell as well. And make sure that you're following us on all the platforms. Y'all know the TikTok, Blue Sky, IG, and the Facebook. And a special shout out to my virtual co-host who didn't even realize he was going to be my virtual co-host today, DeMarcus. Thank you for the super chat as well. I always appreciate you. And yeah, Yeah, good night, y'all, and stay tuned. I will be dropping our Love After Lockup recap before midnight. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, and watch out for Beyond the Gates. Y'all know I'll be dropping that tomorrow as well. So yeah. Have a good week. Be safe and yeah, bye-bye.